Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and welcome to the Three Blind Mice Vantastic Challenge build. This is something that we did, I don't know if it was last year, it might have been the year before. I believe it was George over at Hodges that initiated this, and now that he's part of the Three Blind Mice, I'm assuming it just got transferred into that, and I've been waiting for this for a while. So I'm going a little different. Last time I did like a totally 70s retro um, style van with plush interior and crazy paint job, all this stuff. So I'm going a little bit different this time. I'm going more modern. So I'm starting with an M2 casting, which is again 1/64 scale. A little bit better detail than Hot Wheels, but overall, I mean, I'm kind of in between M2s and Hot Wheels. I like them both. Hot Wheels will always have a place in my heart as far as customizing goes. So the first step is to go through the arduous process of taking it all apart. It's not that bad overall. Everything kind of pops off, and that's it. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell to get notified of all future videos. So overall on these, the windows and the bumpers and headlights and all that kind of stuff, they're all attached. So like the old matchboxes, the windscreens, there are posts. So you just have to get a little bit larger size drill bit, drill around it, and be able to pry it off. Just don't go too far, otherwise you'll obviously pop it out and drill through the roof, which you don't want to do. The rest of it you can push off with. I use a prick punch to push it off, but I mean everybody's got their own ways of doing things. You can actually cut it with a knife as well if that's what you want to do. So after doing all that, I just went right to the stripper and stripped it all down and decided to polish it up a little bit just to clean everything off. And now it's a matter of fitting and trying to figure out the stance. And if you watch any of my videos, you know that the stance is pretty important to me and how I do things. So the original wheels had axles that fit through those holes right there, but it's pretty much wide open. So if you just cut the two ends off, and I'm going to pretty much apologize now for um, this. I'm trying different camera. I'm trying to do things better and different camera angles and everything else. And I think I finally got it, but I didn't get it till the end of the video. So there's some wonky shit going on, and I apologize in advance. So anyways, I cut the ends off. What that does is now that leaves the channel. And the channel is where my wheels are going to sit, and the wheels I have are actually the right, well, they were almost the right length. So I was kind of hoping I could use the original axles. But they're wider, even though they're narrow wheels, they're wider than the original M2. So there's a couple little tabs here and there on the areas where the back of the wheel would sit up against the chassis. So I've got to grind that down a little bit just to create enough clearance so that I can put my wheels in there. So on top of the clearance issues as far as that aspect goes, when I put my axles in, and there are a little bit smaller diameter axles in the M2s, the wheels sit too low, which makes the vehicle sit too high, if that makes any sense. So what I have to do is find a way to get the wheels to sit in that channel but sit higher. So right now I'm kind of playing around with a piece of tape, thinking, what will it look like at the top of the channel. So what I need to do is space those up. So what I'm going to do is get the end result and get the right spacing, I need to make some axle tubes. So I'm going to take the 1/16 brass tubing, and I'm going to mark it, then cut it, and then I'm going to, the little trick that I do is I'll use a prick punch or not prick punch, but my pick to kind of clean out the hole, and then I have some .024, I believe it is, piano wire from K&S, and I use that and stick that through. And what that does is that cleans out the inner part of the actual tube itself. And then that allows me to use that as a way to grind a little. You got to be able to glue the axles in. So what I'm doing is I'm pretty much going to create a hole, well, two holes, one close to the wheel on each side. And by grinding that hole, it's a place for me to put the glue in and not have to try to put the glue on the actual end of the axle, then stick it in, because then your wheel always gets glued to the axle holder. So it's kind of a pain in the neck. So by doing it this way, with the piano wire in there, when I see sparks, I know I've gone far enough. And when I pull that out, it actually cleans out the hole. So it serves a couple of different purposes. Plus, it helps you to hold it. So I guess that would be three purposes. So I get this really thin, square styrene block. It fits perfectly in the channel, and it's just deep enough where it almost comes to the top of the valley, but there's just enough that I can glue that down, and then I can use, with my axle tube being a wider diameter now, it fits in there perfect, so it raises it up, which lowers the vehicle. I'm probably horrible at explaining this, and I hope it makes sense. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos coming up where I'm going to be going with much better video, going into really in depth to a lot of these different processes. Now, it may be boring, it may not be boring. I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can. But there's a lot of processes that, not just me, but everybody, we do it so often, we tend to skip over it, and to try to explain everything every single time, it gets monotonous. And people that watch all the videos, when you hear it every video, it really does get annoying. So, excuse me. But I'm going to be doing a series of those coming up. I've got my daughter's going to be giving me a hand videoing and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to work out really well. So I'm looking forward to it. So the bottom, where the rear bumper was, I'm getting rid of both bumpers. The back, I'm actually going to make for exhaust. So I cleaned out those holes. So step one of painting this was a two-tone gold fade. Now, you can see it barely there, but it actually looked really good. And I couldn't leave well enough alone. And I figured I was going to go with I ended up going with like a magenta candy to go over the gold in certain areas. You can see where I kind of taped off. And it came out really good. Problem is when I took the tape off, even though I tacked it off before I put it on, I peeled back some of the paint. So at this point, I'm like, oh, screw it. I'm going to try some old Createch shit that I had kicking around. That didn't work. Figured I could cover it up. So I just stripped the whole thing, and I'm going to go a different route. I primed it again. I cleaned it. I'm not really sure where my problem came in. I don't know if it's the temperature, because it's really humid out. But it worked great on the blue, but I didn't mask off anything either. So I'm going to go with a dark blue metallic. And I end up I'm trying some different colors here to see what's going to look good. But I do end up going with what's called a dark aluminum. So here's the blue. And the splash paints, I can't say enough good about the splash paints. You don't have to mix shit. You shake it up and put it in your airbrush. It just works great. And there is my fade. And I kind of dig it. I feel like I kind of took the easy way out by doing a fade, but it really does look good. So with that, this is the automotive clear that I'm using. You can see the part numbers there. Somehow, if I get my hand right, there we go. This stuff, I put like 4 coats on that. This came out really, really good. And you can see I primed white the interior, and I'm going to do some detail work on that, as well as the actual casting itself. So I've been kind of playing around with some Games Workshops colors, Vallejo colors, just trying different things to expand my horizons, insofar as I was always using Citadel colors for everything, and I like them and I still use them, but I'm just trying different things. I'm trying different brushes. It's hard when you can't see crap. I can see if I get up really close, but if I get up really close, all you're going to see is the back of my head with the camera. So, and some of you would probably recognize that. No, anyways, what I'm trying to do here is just get what detail I can with this tiny brush on the M2. The M2 underneath really, it's not much different than the Hot Wheels. There's not a ton of detail, but there is the engine. There's a little bit of suspension, not much. So I'm just trying to get the transmission, the bell housing, with an aluminum. And then just to make it stand out, I'm painting the engine block, which you could only see the bottom oil pan red. And that's not really a specific color geared towards any particular brand of vehicle, Ford, Chevy, Dodge. I just happened to pick red because I thought it would stand out. I could have gone blue, it could have gone orange, it could have gone gold. Doesn't really matter. This kind of stuff you're not going to see unless you flip it over. I like to do it because it's good practice. In the interior, I mixed blue. I had a bright blue Vallejo color. I mixed it with just a little bit of black to do a little bit of the interior. And then the seats I'm doing, it looks brown on camera, but it's a like a gray leather color, I think is what it's called. And that's what I'm doing the seats, and I'll do the center console in that. And then I'll highlight everything with some aluminum. And again, you really can't see, especially this vehicle, you can't see anything on the interior, but I did it anyways. Made sure everything was painted, the steering wheel, the dash pad, everything else. Just trying to make, some of it you see. I mean, if you peek your head in there a little bit, or your one good eye into the window, you can kind of see it a little bit. But overall, I love this project. I wish I had better skills. There's a lot of things I wanted to do with this, but I'm just not there yet, skill-wise or time-wise. So here you can see, you barely can see what I did with the front bumper mounts. I turned them into driving lights, painted them yellow. Overall, this thing really came out good. I had a blast doing it. I love these kind of challenges. This is pretty much what I started with. The hooker headers casting, and you really can't beat a good hooker casting. So overall, I had a blast, as I said, and this is what I ended up with. I love the stance. I love how low it is, but it's not it's not scraping on the ground. This thing really was a blast. You can see the exhaust, how I did that with the rear bumper mounts would have been. I detailed the tail lights, did some chrome. I just tried to go subtle. I wasn't going crazy with this. I really had some. If I had more time, I had a lot of great ideas, but my time management skills suck. So, and work picked up right in the middle of like 4 projects, so that didn't help either. And then it's been so hot and humid lately. So anyways, this is what I came up with. Make sure you check out all the other 3 Blind Mice builds, everybody who's participating in this fantastic challenge. I want to thank them for inviting us, and I will catch you on the next one.